Hello, welcome to the European Open briefing for Thursday, June 21st. I'm Rafi Barajan, currency analyst at XM.com, and we're going to be having a look at what's happening in the currency markets today. The US dollar is the strongest currency this morning. The dollar gained significantly following comments by Fed Chair Jerome Powell yesterday, where he reiterated the Fed's intention to continue raising interest rates. We are also seeing some waning of risk appetite, which was boosted yesterday, and that's weighing on other major currencies. Despite that, though, the yen is broadly weaker this morning. The Swiss franc, another safe haven, is mixed following the Swiss National Bank's policy meeting, where they held rates as expected, but slightly raised their inflation forecast for 2018. There wasn't a too strong a reaction in financial markets on that. We've got another central bank meeting coming up later today. The Bank of England is also expected to hold policy unchanged. Yesterday we saw sterling rising briefly following Theresa May, the UK Prime Minister, winning a crucial vote on Brexit legislation in Parliament yesterday, but then investors turned cautious ahead of the BoE meeting. The New Zealand dollar has slid to 6 months lows following a slowdown in GDP growth in the first quarter. The Aussie and the Loonie both hitting fresh one-year lows. We can see the Loonie breaking above the 1.33 level, the Aussie currently around 0.7360 against the US dollar. Oil prices, though, are back down again after Iran signaled that it may support a deal to increase output as OPEC and non-OPEC countries gather in Vienna for an important meeting. Gold prices are down by 0.3%, falling to 6 months lows, mainly on the back of a stronger dollar and rising US interest rates. Equities are mixed, though. We can see Chinese stocks continue to slide on worries about the trade war with the US. European bourses are mixed at the open. And quick look at the main performance. We can see dollar yen, biggest gainer this morning, dollar index second there on the list. Worst performer, oil prices are down sharply following the developments with Iran there, and we can see Kiwi is also another big faller this morning. So let's now take a closer look at dollar yen. We can see the pair heading up towards that resistance area around 110.85. We can see it's also rising back above its moving averages. So yesterday, Fed Chair Jerome Powell said that the case for continued gradual increases in the Fed funds rate is strong, although he did also say that the labor market is not excessively tight, suggesting that the Fed is unlikely to steepen the rate path further. If we recall at the last Fed meeting, policymakers increased their projections to the number of rate hikes this year from 3 to 4. The dollar index has hit an 11-month high of 95.41. We're also seeing US Treasury yields climb higher. So all of this is mainly on the back of the widening monetary policy divergence between the US and other major economies, as the Eurozone, Japan, and other regions still lagging the Fed in terms of raising interest rates. Let's now look at the pound, because we do have the Bank of England policy decision coming up at 11 GMT. Sterling has hit a 7-month low, $1.3123. We saw a brief rise yesterday after Theresa May successfully saw off party rebels to win that key Brexit legislation regarding an amendment to whether or not MPs should have a say on any final Brexit deal. So the EU withdrawal bill has now completed its journey in Parliament and is set to become a UK law, making it even more difficult for the UK to turn back on its decision to leave the EU. But it does give Theresa May a stronger hand when she meets other EU leaders at next week's summit. The Bank of England could, though, drag the pound even lower if they strike a dovish tone at today's meeting. On the other hand, if they do signal a rate hike in August or any of the other upcoming meetings, we could see sterling possibly reversing higher. And a quick look at the Kiwi, we can see the New Zealand dollar falling to a 6-month low 0.6823 before rebounding somewhat to around 0.6846 against the US dollar. New Zealand growth rate slowed to 0.5% in the first quarter. That was the slowest since the end of 2016. We do have an RBNZ policy meeting coming up next week. Today's data means the RBNZ will likely stay neutral for a while longer, but if incoming data continues to be weak, we could potentially see the RBNZ moving towards a rate hike. And now let's have a look at today's economic calendar. We can see the Bank of England policy decision will be the main event later on. We're also going to have US weekly jobless claims and the Philly Fed manufacturing index. Mark Carney, there is no press conference, but he will be speaking at 2015 GMT. And of course, we could see more headlines regarding the OPEC meeting. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.